Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into My Story, My Strength 365-day challenge. As you all know, we're in the second month. You might hear a little bit of work outside, but don't worry about it because we're going to keep this party started, right? Right. Okay. um, this is not something that is for the faint at heart. This is something about me this is about me sharing my stories and my experiences that I have lived through in my entire life that has caused me to embark on this healing journey that was never easy, but it was always necessary and it is always worth it. um we talk about how hard the healing journey is, but I want you guys to know that I'm not where I was before. I'm not. And I am happy where I am. I'm finding my happiness day by day by day. So when the stuff gets hard, please don't give up. Okay, don't. Because again, it's going to be worth it in the end, no matter how hard things get. And then what I'm learning, what I've always known about myself and what about life, is there's nothing easy that you can have that's going to be worth fighting for. Everything that you have that's going to be worth having is something that you had to fight really hard for. You're not going to appreciate something that's just handed to you. So this healing journey is meant to be hard so that when you finally reach whatever stage you need to be at to feel as complete as you can, because it's an ongoing forever process. But when you reach that moment, you're going to be so proud because you fought to get where you are. You fought to be who you are, and you fought to be in a better headspace than you were when you first started. So just know that that's what this platform is for, to show you the hard things that I had to navigate, whether it was through me directly or indirectly through someone else, which is what today's story is about. So I will first start off with a trigger warning. This content contains explicit descriptions of intimate partner abuse, sexual assault of a minor, emotional trauma of a minor, betrayal, underage drinking, and coercion, and addresses the devastating impact of abuse on survivors and those who bear witness to it. This material may be triggering or deeply distressing, especially for survivors of sexual assault, domestic abuse, or those with related trauma. Sorry. Please prioritize your safety and emotional well-being first and foremost and only, honestly. Have support resources ready if needed, and pause or stop if you need to, okay? So I thought that living with abuse was one of the hardest things that I could ever do. Dealing with my ex-husband physically, mentally, emotionally, and sexually abusing me on a regular basis was just horrible. But it wasn't until I realized that my ex not only was hurting me, but he was hurting other young girls. And that hit me. That weight hit me harder than anything that he was doing to me. And even though, but like I said, what I went through wasn't easy. But knowing that he was still, okay, because I was a child when he met me and he was doing it then, but that he was still doing this. And at that time, I was an adult. I was pregnant with my second son. I had my other apartment. And this was one of the times he would disappear for months sometimes. And I was finally in a peaceful space. He wasn't coming around. He disappeared, as he often does, which those are my breaks. I called them and I could breathe again. It was a healthy moment for me and my son, and I was preparing for my second son. It was before he assaulted me, because it was the same apartment that he assaulted me when I was pregnant with that child, but it was before that incident happened. Um, so one evening I'm at home, I'm relaxing, and I'm watching TV. I'd already fed my oldest son. I put him to bed, and I heard him knock at my door, and then my heart just sank. I was thinking, oh my goodness, this God, he's at my door, and I did not want to deal with him. So I just kind of yelled, "Who is it?" And the girl responded with her name. And I recognized her from the times that she had been over my ex's sister's house. I used to go up there sometimes and let the kids play with her kids. They were the same age. And she really was the only person he allowed me to go see without it being an issue. So I seen her in the complex, a young girl. She was about 15, 16, and she was a lesbian, but she was really sweet. She was a tomboy, and she, was respectful. She hung out with people. She was one of the young girls in the complex trying to fit in with the older crowd. You know, she was really sweet though. She was really sweet and kind to everyone she met. I don't know. When I did not know. I didn't know when she came over to my house that night what she was coming over for. I didn't know, but I didn't realize how much that would break my heart. Not because of anything she said, but because of how deeply I would hurt for her. Because I understood where she was. So she sat down on my couch, and she told me what happened to her. She told me that at that time husband was buying drinks for a lot of the girls in the area. And then when she got drunk, he took her to a mutual friends of theirs house. This is an adult woman who was letting these kids sit in her house and drink. They were outside of her house in the complex, and he took her in there. She said that she thought she was safe because she thought that they were both her friends. And he was just laying her down on the bed to sober up. That's what she expected, because she felt like he knew that she was a lesbian. And from that point, he had never shown her any signs that he was interested in her in that way. I knew better because the girl was beautiful. Beautiful. Just because you're of the opposites, just because you're not someone that likes the opposite sex does not make you an ugly person. She was a beautiful young girl, and she had a beautiful personality. And I knew that he would, given an opportunity, that he would do something to her. I didn't think that he was going to have the opportunity, but unfortunately, I wasn't surprised that he did what he did to her. She said she thought she was, but what came next, it kind of shattered me, because he raped her. She said he climbed on top of her, and without being too descriptive of the situation, he was begged, because it's not my story to tell. She begged him to get off of her. He wouldn't, and he raped her. She came to my house because she didn't know what else to do. She didn't really know how I would react. We cried together. We sat on my couch and we cried together. And I kind of encouraged her. I kind of tried to just call the police. I don't blame you. I believe you. I did not shame or blame her in any way. And I told her if she called the police, as his wife, I would support her claim against him, because I know, because at the time, I believe I was only like 19 or 20, and I'm pregnant with my second. No, I was 19, pregnant with my second child by him, with a son who was almost 2 years old. So he had gotten me pregnant when I was 17, So I told her, I'm right here with you. If you need me, I will not turn my back on you. I will not make it seem like you're lying. She was afraid to call the police. I don't know why. I don't know her story, but she broke down in my house crying as if all the weight on the world had landed on her shoulders. And my heart just shattered for her pain. But because I saw, it wasn't just the pain. I saw a mirror of my own past in her eyes. I saw the fear that she had of, or probably have been shamed or blamed for her life before. And she didn't trust that anyone would care about her. She was honestly surprised that I reacted the way I did. For the first time, I truly saw who I was at her age, and still was, because again, I wasn't that much older than her, maybe 2-3 years older than her. I saw the fear in her eyes that, she felt like the situation would be worse if she tried to reach out to the police. I saw the betrayal and the deep hurt in her heart from someone who she thought she could trust, violating her innocence. She told me she was a virgin. She had never been with a man before that day. And I saw the relief when she realized that I didn't blame her. That day I wasn't broken because of her. I was broken because I was broken for her. So that moment dug up a wound that I've been carrying without naming it. I felt shattered by the truth that the person that I was with, because I did not love this man, this person that forced me in this situation, he wasn't only hurting me, but he was hurting other girls too. It forced me to face the unbearable feelings of guilt and shame and helplessness, not because I was guilty, but because I stayed silent for so long. Like if I would have spoke up, if I would have gotten him arrested, I had an opportunity to have him arrested and I didn't. Maybe this wouldn't have happened to this young girl. I battled the crushing confusion of whether I failed not only her, not only myself, but the girls who never had a voice, girls that he was preying on and probably still preying on. I wrestled with the terrifying question, had I been protecting my predator? The fear that I had somehow enabled harm weighed on me so heavy. I felt small, I felt powerless, I felt ashamed and broken, not because of my own actions, but because of the impossible burden of what I just witnessed and the lives that it affected. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about lives shattered, trust broken, and innocence stolen by the same man who did this to me. And I was caught in an impossible space between pain and survival. And that really messed me up, because this was a little girl who didn't deserve, and he was in his 30s at the time, or almost 30. He was really close to 30 if he wasn't 30, and he had no business even looking at her this way, but to manipulate her to the point. And the money that he was using to get them drunk was probably money he stole from me. So that even made me even more guilty. So just that was a part of my life where I felt responsible for someone else because of the things that he did. So, reflection question to you all. When have you carried guilt or shame for someone else's actions, especially when those actions hurt people you care about? Where does the shame truly belong, and where are you still holding it inside? What would it take for you to start releasing that weight? So, the negative mind state that I fell into was believing that I somehow was responsible, that my silence was consent, that my love meant overlooking and acceptance, overlooking the unacceptable or being accepting of his behavior, and that I should have seen and stopped the harm. But the truth is that the blame belongs solely to him. I was not the guardian of other people's choices or actions, especially his. Witnessing pain does not mean causing it. So just because I saw that what he did to her, or I heard about what he did to her, does not mean that I caused it. It wasn't my fault. I was a kid. I was afraid. And at that point, no one ever believed anything that I said anyway. So, I was her. So the affirmation that I have for myself is I claim my power to hold space without shame. I release burdens that are not mine to carry. My presence is strength. My love is protection. And my voice is truth. So just tell yourself that. So a mini coping session. My mini session is the anchor, breath, and body scan combo. This is a grounding and regulation technique that connects breath with body awareness. Okay, first I want you to anchor your breath. Sit comfortably, breathe deeply through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 2, exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds, and repeat that 5 times. Then you scan your body. After you breathe, close your eyes and slowly scan your body from head to toe. Notice any tension, pain, any discomfort. And when you feel a tight spot, breathe into it gently as if your breath was like a warm melting, I don't know, something that's comforting or melting, but or like a hot pad, a warm hot pad, heated pad that's melting all of that tension away. Don't force it. Don't over breathe. Don't, just observe and just keep your regular breath. Don't blow on it. Just try to breathe that pain away. Okay, and in an anchor statement, open your eyes and say silently, I am here, I am safe, I am grounded. Feel your feet firmly on the floor, your seat connected to the chair or the ground, wherever you're sitting. This combination can help calm the nervous system and bring back awareness from overwhelming emotions and back to your physical reality. Again, any of these tools that I teach you, whatever works and resonates with you, you have to do it on a regular basis, because if you only do it one time, it's not going to work. It's like a piano lesson or a football team. You have to practice repetitively in order for you to allow to see the actual growth and the changes within you. My empowerment challenge for you guys today, my 1-minute empowerment challenge today, identify one boundary that you've been avoiding because it feels hard or scary, whether it's a personal situation, um, whether it's a person, a situation, or your own thoughts. Like if you need to set a boundary with yourself, like you won't talk to someone who you shouldn't be talking to. Take one concrete action to force that boundary. No matter how small or big it is, just force it. It may look like saying no to a big request, or blocking someone who's toxic, or writing down that you won't accept X, Y, and Z anymore in your life. I was going to cut bullshit in your life anymore. Um, Empowerment grows in the actions you take to protect your peace, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. So now we're on our spotlight. Today, I want to speak about a young woman named Taisha Holt. She was 14 when the streets of Detroit first introduced her to violence and survival. She watched friends and family fall into cycles of gang life and gun violence, a world where daily fear was the only constant. Caught between wanting safety and wanting to belong, Taisha was coerced into a gang for protection, not for power. Oh, that sounds so familiar. What began as trying to survive quickly turned into being trapped in a life marked by fear, aggression, and multiple violent assaults. Over the next decade, Taisha survived shootings. She was wounded at least 3 times, a vicious knife attack that nearly took her brother's life, and the constant threat of being arrested or worse. Every day was a gamble on the streets, in abandoned houses, in unstable relationships. She lost friends to incarceration or death. She lost siblings to the same force she was trying to outrun. But it was a near fatal violence but it was near fatal violence in 2014. I'm saying, I don't know what's wrong with me. It was near fatal violence in 2014, a drive-by shooting that grazed her head and left her in a week-long coma that was a turning point for her. While tethered to life, she realized that she wanted more than survival, she wanted freedom. After recovering, Taisha faced the biggest fight of her life. Reintegration. She went back into society with no diploma, no job, and no letter grade redemption. She could have just slipped right back into the streets of survival. She could have. But instead, she sought help through a nonprofit that guided her and helped her with therapy, GED classes, and trauma-informed care. Touched by how revival saved her soul, she dedicated herself to paying it forward. So she was revived by this program that helped her kind of start a new life. She earned a GED while working 2 jobs and caring for her younger siblings. In 2017, she co-founded Phoenix Reentry, a nonprofit organization that provides formerly incarcerated men and women with mentorship, job placement support, mental health services, and affordable housing referrals. Taisha now fights violence not from the pulpit, but from the ground. She hosts street-level group sessions, restorative justice programs. I don't know what that one word was, with ex-gang members. And I put that word as convenes. Look at you guys. She convenes restorative justice programs with ex-gang members. And she meets with local police and city council to craft more compassionate public safety policies. She travels nationally to share her story in forums from high schools to TEDx stages, always raw and always real. Taisha Holt's story is not about dropping out, giving up, or distancing herself from the streets. It's about returning home to build something better. After the violence nearly took everything, she chose connection over hope over bitterness. She turned trauma into curriculum, bullets into bridges between communities historically torn apart. She didn't become a success story. She became a transformative force, someone whose presence is in a formerly violent spaces reminds everyone that healing requires humanity, not hollow arrests. We honor you to Miss Taisha Holt, and we thank you for choosing future over fear, for refusing to abandon your brothers and sisters when the system already did, for walking into violence and choosing conversation over confrontation. You didn't just escape, you re-entered with purpose. We see you, we join you, and we again honor you. This journey is more than content, it's raw, real, and alive. Subscribe to Empowered Voices and Finding Strength in Survivors for these daily healing challenges. Catch new episodes of Insights of a Survivor every Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on this station. Join Raw and Real Podcast collab with myself and Mr. Olive every last Saturday of the month, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. So the end of July, the last Saturday in July. And tune into Kiss Corner every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for she's my sister's healing space. This and other platforms that I'm going to have, that I'm continuing to grow in order to show this community that healing is not easy, but it is possible. So just always remember, always, your story doesn't end in pain. It begins in power. I will see you tomorrow for another powerful story of healing. I love you guys all. Stay blessed and stay strong.
looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get